Oh, what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon, and we're here on 95 South TV once again. You know what I'm saying? I got first and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here and have this opportunity to be on here. So basically, He didn't have to let us do it, and we was able to wake up this morning and do it again. So I got a special guest tonight. You know what I'm saying? This brother from up top. You know what I mean? He been in the game for a minute. Been doing his thing for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Got my man DJ Kawon. Am I pronouncing that right?
Kawon, but that's
Kawon.
K1's. Yeah, K1's what my grandma called me, but that's okay too.
Okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. So man, just tell everybody, man, like basically, man, because you've been in the game for what, maybe about 20 something years, 30 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, brother. Definitely been a
Anytime
minute.
you got to be like, yeah, let me think about that for a second. Yeah, so just tell everybody kind of how you got started. What was your passion for getting into it the way you did?
Yeah, absolutely, man. As far as this level, man, I've been around since 2011. As far as the streaming radio um space. I had my show, the mixtape show. At the time, I got recruited by a station at the time out of Atlanta called Next Generation Atlanta Radio. Shout out to my man Mark. He was kind of starting out the internet back then. They called it internet radio, and so they were kind of the pioneer, not pioneers like the first ones, but they were one of the first stations to kind of do that, and they were one of the first stations to actually be on TuneIn. If you're familiar with the TuneIn directory thing, they were one of the first internet stations on there, and we started building that out, man. And at one point, we were one of the top 10 stations overall on that platform, just because there wasn't too many independent stations on there. So we kind of was doing really well with that, man. And then after a while, life was happening for people and stuff like that. So NGA went away for a little bit, got rebranded to a NGI radio, and I rocked with them for a little bit. And then again, life happened again. And so that's when I launched my station, my Kawon J radio station, soon after that. And been doing that ever since then, probably since maybe 2015-ish, around that way, 2015, 2016, on and off. And still have the mixtape show, still one of the pillars of underground hip hop, one of the go-to stations that we like to have artists on, and I do interviews and stuff like that. And just been rocking with that, man, rocking with some music production and just kind of enjoying myself and just enjoying to contribute to hip hop, man.
Okay. Well, my brother Jacob, he done joined us. So,
Salute,
what's going on, brother?
Salute. What's going on? Salute.
I'm gonna jump back in, and I'm gonna jump back into it. I'm gonna let you jump on into it, Jacob.
So DJ Kawon, man, do you think that artists nowadays understand how important a DJ is versus artists that we grew up with?
As far as what we grew up with, I don't want to generalize everybody, because there are certain artists that I come in contact with that recognize that the DJ kind of helps them out and kind of helps them grow their brand. So those are the artists that I typically um, lean towards. You know what I mean? So I would say, but if we talk about overall picture, I would say no. I think everybody feels like that they're their own platform and they can do it themselves, kind of thing. And then that's when you kind of run into the microwave mentality of how people put their music out, where they just think that everybody watches their social media and they look forward to people watching their social media, thinking that they can break their own records. But at the end of the day, man, I think the DJs and the right platforms are the ones who help break those records. If you got the right platform, you know what I mean, like your guys' platform and stuff like that. So I would say overall picture, no,
I
but there are
appreciate
a lot
that.
who do. There are a lot of artists out there who do kind of recognize the DJ as being one of the go-to places to get that music put out there.
Right. So you being a DJ, a producer, a public figure, a turntablist, um, A&R, a music consultant, all the above, man.
All of the above, right?
We, right. So when did you realize that that you are so much more than a DJ?
Oh man, you know what? It takes time to it's just over time, man. Just kind of slowly building my platform and just kind of connecting with artists, connecting with the right people, and you build those relationships and you nurture those relationships, and then when somebody comes along who you recognize may need that little plug, and you kind of help them out a little bit, and it kind of grows from there. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I always say if you do one thing every day to go towards your goal, it's going to build up over time, right? So that one
Right,
little thing that you may do each day to go towards what your major platform, your major goal is, it's going to add up at the end of the day. And we get to where we are now. Like I was telling the brother Icon earlier, I started this in 2011. So every day, just building towards where we are today, helping get to where we are. You know what I mean? And it just makes a lot of those baby steps easier. And so what I usually do is I try to look out for the artists and stuff who have that hunger, who want to do right by business and stuff like that. And I don't want them to bump their head in the wall like I had to do on a lot of stuff. So I try to cut that short for them with some of my stuff that I learned over the years, just because this business, man, can hurt you, and you just don't want to see people who really care about this quit just because they may or may not know where to go for that next step. So I feel like that's what I'm here for.
right. That's dope. That's dope. So from digging into your uncle crates from way back in the day, before a lot of these artists could even spell the word hip hop,
Uh-huh.
and just putting your first record on and just rocking a crowd in New York,
Mhm.
and versus where you are now, man. What are some of those lessons that turn into blessings?
Oh man, the lessons are always to take those L's too. You got to take those L's to take those lessons. So um, my main thing is never say no to a right situation. Always go into it wanting to learn something from situations. If it makes sense, you know what I mean. If it's something that wastes your time, don't do it. But just kind of always going in there thinking that you're going to learn something from the situation and never say no, and grow from it. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid of getting yourself out of your norm, because usually that's where you're going to find the growth at.
Right. Icon.
Okay, so basically, when it comes to like when you started in New York and on the hip hop scene, and now, like, let's just say '05 to 25, like, what's the biggest difference you see with how artists kind of deal with you as far
Yeah.
as the respect level? Because
Uh,
we know that the respect level is not where it needs to be with DJs like
mhm.
it was back in the day.
Yeah, it's definitely changed, man. But I don't blame the artist for that, for the overall, just because there's a lot of scamming going on out there too. So the artists kind of have become more guarded, based off of people promise them a dollar in a dream. And so when the right opportunity does come up, they don't know how to recognize it. You know what I mean? So um, I just always say, man, if you post your results, or if you just kind of share the results and stuff and not really chasing after things, you're always gonna things always gonna that you attract are gonna come to you in the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I typically, when I'm breaking records and I'm playing records, man, I do it like the old school DJ mentality. If it's dope, I'm gonna play it. You know what I mean? I don't go into it trying to take advantage of the artist, or trying to get paid for plays and nothing like that, man. I believe in the old school. Like, if it's dope, play the record, and if you rock with the artist, rock with the artist. You know what I mean? And if they really appreciate it, they'll return that favor to you. You know what I mean? So, and I've had artists too, man. I've helped them or try to help them get in situations where they can win. And the selfishness comes out at some point. It's going to show. Their true feelings are going to come out, how they feel about things, and they're not burning bridges with me. They're burning bridges with future situations. So I don't take it as personal. You know what I mean? I just kind of step away from that situation and just kind of let them navigate it for themselves at that point.
Okay, well, we're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna get in more into that when we get right back to 95 South. Okay, we back. We here on 95 South TV. We here with DJ Kawon in the building. And my man King Jacob. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that because when I first moved to Atlanta back in like '08, and I was managing a few artists back then, independent
Mm-hmm.
artists back then, and I noticed how back then, like you say, the DJs got to the point where all of them wanted to kind of they were kind of using these artists and
Mm-hmm.
wanted paid off of them. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like that's not how this supposed to go, especially when y'all know these artists are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you DJs already up,
Mm-hmm.
and DJs trying to get to the point where they're trying to get somewhere. And then like the DJ say, "Oh, I can introduce you to this producer, this A&R, and you come work with me, and this, that, and the third." And I seen a couple of DJ movements where I actually felt like I think it was the heavy hitters and
Mm-hmm.
who else was it in Atlanta? I think it was hard. Was it hardcore? I forgot the core DJs.
Yeah, the score DJs. Yeah.
Core DJs. I actually seen them actually trying to put artists on and
Mm-hmm.
put them in position. But a lot of these DJs, I was just like, man, you trying to charge all this, 25,
Absolutely.
5,000, all this crazy astronomical numbers, and you
Yeah.
talking about kids that's 18, 19 years old. Most of them ain't gonna have that kind of money unless they dope boys. You know,
Absolutely.
so why you even trying to go that route? So that's what you say. That's when you hear about the artist being bitter, and
Mm-hmm.
now and the artist not wanting to work with the DJ because they feel like the DJ is using them in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I do agree with you on that. So the next thing I want to do is you working with King.
That's my guy. Yes.
We
Yeah.
had him on the show about a month back. Very refreshing young man because it was funny when I heard him. I said, "Oh, I said, you sound like Kendrick a little bit."
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever, and but I like his style. I like the fact he's he's a real lyricist. So how did you come across him, and what's your relationship as far as on the music side?
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to the young guy, King, man. So I met him through another artist here in Dallas. I live in Dallas now, and he goes by the name of Drums Rugged. He introduced Ra to me um, by giving him placements on my radio show. He was talking about Ra because they work together, and he was like, "Yo, I think you need to check out this dope MC named Ra King. I'm gonna give me information so he can send you some records and all that stuff." So he sent me a few records, and I liked them and everything. And then we just kind of got to talking a little bit about what I got going on production wise, and we just decided to, well, let's work on something. You know, he had his healing tape. We dropped the healing tape, and we recorded that, and I was like, this brother's amazing. You know what I'm saying? He's really amazing at what he does. And I think we got some chemistry here. You know what I mean? And since then, that was last year we started. We dropped the healing tape in June of last year, and we just dropped his solo debut album, his full length album, the Golden Age. And we've recorded, bro. Honestly, we've recorded about 4 or 5 projects together so far that we're sitting on. And his work ethic is crazy. We just had this really dope chemistry. There's obviously a age difference between me and him. He was born 92. I was born 79. But we don't have that hierarchy as far as age where I feel like since I'm older, I know what I'm talking about. He puts me on to a lot of things. He teaches me a lot of things, what's going on social media wise and stuff like that. We just kind of feed off each other's energy, man. And he's an incredible MC, man. I definitely would not be surprised if people start knocking at his door soon as far as wanting to do some other business with him. And hopefully that's what we can get him at. You know what I mean? I definitely want to help get him in a position to where he can be in those barbershop conversations as far as, top MCs in the game right now. So hopefully we can get there soon.
Yeah, so I gotta definitely pull up on you, bro, because I'll be in Dallas a lot. So
okay, all right.
What side of Dallas you on? You got a studio out there?
Say that again.
You got a studio out there?
Nah, I work at home, man. So you can pull it to the crib. We good. It's all good.
Okay. I definitely be out in Dallas. I tell people I always stay over there. That sleep in over there, right across from Six Flags down in Arlington.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to spot or whatever when I come into town. But
okay, all right.
I'm definitely gonna pull up on you. But
definitely.
Go ahead.
So man, I'm a mixtape mixtape fanatic, right?
Uh,
Especially, man, when people ask me what was your first mixtape, I tell
mhm.
them DJ Tony touch, 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 touch. And they
Uh-huh.
was like, "What DJ Tony touch?" I
Yeah.
was like, "Man, listen, man, I was one of them kids, and when the homeboys used to come down from New York to stay with their grandma for the summer, I used to
Mhm.
hit them up. Be like, man, bring some mixtapes down here, man, and let's get into these mixtapes, man. So got into the Tony Touch, and then from the Tony Touch, I got into the Clue, I got into the Premiere, I got
Mhm.
into DJ White Owl,
Mhm.
and I got into the Who Kids and
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
Jay
just a
Slay, and all of them.
yeah, yeah, right. So just a whole bunch of mixtape era, and then I used to tell cats, man, like they would hear these cats come out 4 or 5 years later. I'd be like, man, they been killing the mixtape scene for about 3, 4 years. They be like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
So since the digital era, man, um,
Mhm.
how has that affected the mixtape scene?
Oh man, see, I think with the digital tape era in general, it kind of, to me, it killed the mixtape era as far as because everybody's their own A&R now, right? Everybody can do their own thing. I would even say 50 and Wayne kind of killed the mixtape because they didn't depend on the DJs as much. They just kind of self-released their own mixtapes. So the DJ mixtape part kind of went away a little bit. When DJ Drama and them got raided, I think that kind of killed the mixtape game as well. And you know, people started kind of saying, instead of doing the mixtape, let's just drop it as an EP. You know what I'm saying? Or let's just drop it as something like that. And it kind of changed a little bit with the streams. I still try to keep that essence of the mixtape kind of things I do. That's what the show is. The mixtape show is kind of like that. I think of it as like a weekly mixtape of some unreleased music or some underground music. Um, when I do production, I kind of always have that mixtape feel in mind when I'm creating these projects, because I want it to feel still have that underground feel to it and stuff like that. So it's just a little different now how we do it. There are some DJs out there that still kind of do mixtapes in a different way, and I definitely appreciate that, and it always gives me that nostalgic feel. But I think just within the digital era, man, it's just really no place for that mixtapes feel anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. But I think even with artists, when it comes to places like that, Piff, and mixtapes
Mhm.
for us and live mixtapes and that mixtape, I think that right there helps gain a lot of traction to our artists still in the digital era, man. And so I
Mhm.
tell artists all the time, man, just drop your promo mixtape. Do it over some
Yeah,
industry
yeah.
beats, man, and put that on these platforms. You'll be surprised how many people you'll gain from Bandcamp or from Audio Mac, from
Mhm.
from SoundCloud, live mixtapes, that Piff.
Yeah.
You'll gain those fans. So I
Yeah,
think for
I like that too. That's the one thing I do like too, man. I'm gonna cut you off. I like the self release aspect of the game now. You know what I mean? You don't really need a cosign anymore. You cosign yourself now, and you release your own joints. And like you said, put it out on your Mixcloud or put it out on your Bandcamp, or build your website and give those away for free on your website or something. Because I used to do that too. I got a website where if you subscribe, I'll give away one of my old mixtapes. Each month I'll upload like one of my old mixtapes that you only can be a subscriber to get it. You know what I mean? Because I got a bunch of joints I did where I did some unreleased music, or I did like a Nas mixtape, or I did, stuff like that, just to kind
mhm.
of get that feel. So yeah, it's plenty of ways to promote yourself as an artist as you're building up your catalog too. You know what I mean? Just show your skills and stuff like that.
Right. And so, man, I remember there's one time where a lot of cats got noticed
Mhm.
from a Virgin or a Solemn or a Loud or TVT back in the day through a
Mhm.
mixtape. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I remember um, I think it was DJ Holiday putting
Mm-hmm.
out their mixtape in the South. Um, Shorty Low, versus Ti, and just
Mm-hmm.
had different verses on different beats, and him kind of remixing the verses. So I think that the creation of the mixtapes and how DJs, kept it kept it pushing with the mixtapes was dope. But what's
Mm-hmm.
interesting about the mixtapes is when the DJ did the commercial radio mixtapes. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And so I think that the newer artists really got to understand how the mixtape game work.
Mm-hmm.
Because they understand the digital era, and then they don't understand club promotions and street promotions. Like
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was out selling mixtapes, man. I remember we and I tell people on a small level, I know that I push for artists I was managing by myself about 10,000 copies in one summer. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You know what I mean? Just going from place to place, and I was only selling the mixtapes for $2 a mixtape. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so people would give donations for like $10 and $12. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
I don't listen to that music, baby boy, but you ain't out here stealing or robbing or getting to no damage. So here go $12, $15. Enjoy your
Absolutely.
day. So that era, I think the labels understood that they had to take that away because there were so many artists just selling out their trunk and
Mm-hmm.
and had the scan code on the back with a scan gun, and that was recording straight the sound scan. And they was like, we ain't seen these artists on the radio, we ain't seen them
Mm-hmm.
on BET. What these artists doing with all these units? So it
Mm-hmm.
kind of made the artists have to go that route, and then I think streaming took away from the independent aspect. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so man, what do you feel? Um, do you feel that we'll ever get back to the physical copies?
I think we're there, man. To be honest with you, I don't think we're there as far as the primary. I think you kind of have to partner up with the streaming with the physicals if you're an artist now. Because I was always been back and forth about that. I always felt like you should keep your stuff off the streams and go direct to consumer, but just kind of thinking about it too, and even personally dealing with people who, if I'm wearing like merch of like an album, like every time we do an album release, I'll make T-shirts or something, and I'll be out and about. If I didn't have it on the streams and somebody see it, they'd be like, "Well, what can I hear it?" It's real hard to convert somebody to go to your website to go listen to it or download or purchase it, right? Because they're trained and they're learned to get on their phone and go to iTunes, or go to Amazon, or go to Spotify, right? So that's when I realized, you kind of have to put everything. You can kind of have to put your music on streams too, just to use it as a marketing tool, kind of thing. But you can always say, but hey, if you go get this album on my personal website, I got 2 bonus cuts on the streaming. You know what I'm saying? You got to make it worth the while for them to go over there or something like that. So um, I just think now in today's era, you got to find that balance, because there are artists out there who release physical music and they sell. My man Lindor up in Canada, I work with him a lot. He's in a situation where he sells CDs and stuff and cassettes, and he sells out every time just because he's still one of those old school guys. He's hand to hand. He's out there when he's working. He's talking to people. He's noticing people listening to music on the train, so he'll go strike up a conversation with them, and then get them to get into his music and stuff like that. So you just gotta. I think with the younger generation being a little spoiled with the technology now, they think that's all you got to do is just throw it on there and people are going to find it. But if you come from the generation prior to that and you're used to that hand to hand, you can take both of those, physical and digital, and you marry it together, man. You can make a nice living off your music. You just gotta be willing to go out there and touch the people and talk to them about it. You know what I mean? You got to sell it. You got to sell your music these days. You can't just assume people are gonna listen to it just because you say it's available.
All right, we'll
That's
be
right.
right. We're gonna come right back here on 95 South TV and keep this thing going. All right, we back. We back here on 95 South TV. We here with DJ Kawon. So I want to ask you something, brother. And I kind of probably already know the answer, but I want to get a DJ's answer.
Hmm.
What happened in the club scene when brothers and sisters stopped dancing with each other. Like, what happened? Like, it used to be a time, when your favorite James come on back in the day, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna age myself. But when the percolator came on,
Yeah,
everybody ran to that dance floor. You
yeah,
know what I mean? When certain
yeah,
songs came on, you just knew it was time to get out there and shake your tail feather. So
absolutely.
what happened, bro?
Social media happened, man. It's more cooler to be on your phone now to take that attention away. They done got so many distractions now where there's no more anticipation for Friday. There's no more anticipation for happy hour. There's no more anticipation for ladies' night, Thursday nights at the club now. You can get all that on your phone now. You know what I'm saying? You can go do all of that. So um, that's a weird one too, man. That's a weird space to be in where when you go out and you notice everybody's on their phone and nobody's really paying attention, nobody's talking to each other. The fellas ain't talking to the ladies like they used to. It's just a weird space to be in and see that, man. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's ever coming back, brother. There's too many clubs shutting down now. So you know that it's like people just don't want to be around each other no more, man. People don't want that interaction with people, and it's a weird space, especially for our culture, man, because that's how we used to get down on the weekends, right? So it's just real strange, real
Yeah,
strange.
yeah, cause I don't know if you got kids or whatever, but I got three kids and I got two, like I got a kid and I got a 24-year-old and I got a 22-year-old.
Mhm,
And I thought about it, and I got two nieces and nephews or whatever, my sister's kids. And I thought about it, and I said, hold on. Out of those four kids alone, they don't
mhm,
go to clubs.
mhm,
They not a club generation. So
mhm,
I thought about this. I said, are the clubs dying or what's going on? Because we in Atlanta, and
mhm,
Atlanta is all about the clubs, the bars, the
mhm,
food, the nightlife. But
mhm.
the kids in my kids generation don't look like my daughter. She goes out a little bit, but I don't even think she don't even really go to clubs. She might go to like a hookah bar,
Mhm,
something
mhm.
like that. She might go to somebody's house and chill, but she not necessarily gonna go to actually like the compound. I don't know if you know about the Atlanta club.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I'm saying, 112 or them type of clubs. She not going to them clubs. You
Mhm,
feel what I'm saying? So
mhm.
I'm glad you said that because I'm just like, what happened where the
Yeah,
club scene in this generation has pretty much slowed down or is irrelevant.
yeah,
And
and
it's
I think too, it's a lot of private parties too. A lot of people just do a lot of private events now, where you don't want to go and pay $20 for parking or $30 for parking and pay 20 $30 $20 for a drink. Where you can just go rent an Airbnb now and buy you some bottles and just play some music and just chill out. Do a kickback, kind of situation too. So I think if it's not a club situation, if people gonna socialize, it's more of a like private event kind of thing now. Um, which is cool too, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think the club thing it's a weird space, man. It's weird to see a lot of these buildings abandoned and stuff like that. We like down here we had the Ghost Bar. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ghost Bar. And I remember recently they had like a liquidation sale just because they couldn't get any business. And I was like, that's one of the big clubs out here, you know what I mean? So it's just weird to see a lot of these old spaces just turn into like turn into like Starbucks or furniture places now, you know what I'm saying?
But
yeah. So
what has happened though, fellas, is you know I rock with that Southern Soul market a lot, and I've been to a lot of Southern Soul events. But kids, icon your son age, are partying with the old people. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And say that what I was like, man, a lot of these kids here is like I kind of know them. I remember
mm,
when these jits was you just follow behind their dad and dad
yeah,
couldn't go
yeah.
nowhere. And I said they out here grooving. So
Mhm,
it's like and I asked them, I said, man, why you out here with us? They was like,
mhm.
man, y'all know how to act. They
Yeah.
was like, I if I go out here, I come out here with y'all, I know I'm gonna make it back safe. So,
Yeah,
and
safety. Yeah, it's a safety issue too. Yeah, absolutely. You're right about
and
that.
I think that's a initiative because the youngins that got something going on that got a pretty good career and they got a significant other, they engaged, get married, or they just building with somebody. They want to know that they can make it home safe, and so
Mhm, mhm.
that's why they tend to not go in spots with their generation that, but just Be like, let me see what the old head's doing. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I know how to step because I seen my parents and my aunts and uncles step. So I can do a little step of groove as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's what I think has happened with a lot of the younger generation because every time you used to turn around, man, you hear about how this dude or this female didn't work hard to get this club up and going, man, and these people see each other from Monday, from 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 Sunday through Thursday.
Hmm.
Y'all eating at the same spot. You going to the same mom and pop place. Y'all just look at one, don't say nothing. But y'all wait till these brothers done got clean and got a haircut. They spiffy a little bit, and
Hmm.
and 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 the club got for every one dude is 8 women. But y'all
Yeah.
want to show out and fight. Come on, man. Like what? Now I just started saying, what you dudes don't like women? Like what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. It's a weird space, brother. It's a strange space to be in right now.
We're gonna come right back. We're gonna continue this conversation right here on 95. Okay, we back. We back. This is brought to you by Zeno FM. Also brought to you by 16 Radio, our new radio station that we just started last week. We got everything from R&B to hip hop, the old school, new school hip hop, old school, no old school, new school R&B. We got pop on there, the pop hits. We're gonna have them on there. We're gonna have some gospel. We got some southern soul. We got a little bit of everything. Keywan, hey, brother, we don't discriminate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Congratulations on that. Congrats on that,
Thanks,
brothers.
thanks, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Because if you remember back in the day, back in the 80s, me and my brother talk about this all the time. You had Hall and Oates. You had Boy
Hmm.
George. You know what I mean? You had Michael. You had George Michael. You know what I'm saying? Michael McDonald. So back
Hmm.
in the day, it wasn't about white or black. It was about this
Hmm.
great music.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
the biggest thing. Now we need to get back to great music.
Yeah.
Because now I want to ask you about something because it bothers me a lot, and I want to know if it bothers you. Man, I know you in the age group of us. What's your thoughts on drill music? You know what I mean? Because I don't like it at all. I don't think they bring anything positive to the table. That's just
Yeah.
me. They may
Yeah.
hate
I
me for
don't.
it, but that's the way I feel.
Yeah. No. I don't really have an opinion because I don't listen to it or pay attention to it as much. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I'm not. I couldn't tell you who a drill rapper would be. But I would say that from what the for how it's set up, it's no different than gangster rap. It's no different than the negative energy they try to put into the hip hop culture over the years. It's just a newer version of whatever that is. It just replaced whatever the previous version that was out there. So now you got they kind of turned away from drill and now they kind of get into the can I curse? Can I curse on
Yeah,
Go
it?
ahead. Say what
So
you
they
say.
get so they get into the slut rap, you know what I'm saying? Where they giving the ladies an opportunity to kind of get the spotlight, but you have to be a certain way to get that look. So you have these female artists out here who basically slutting themselves out, you know what I'm saying, to get attention. So it's just to me, it's just another cog in the wheel of bringing the negative energy to the culture that happens from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Because the 80s it was all about gangster rap and drug talk and all that stuff. And it's just each generation, every few years ago, they'll introduce a new type of whatever. And it may
yeah.
they call it different things, but it's the same thing. It's always negative energy is how I view it.
Now stop right there for a second. You said something. The thing about it is okay. In the '90s, we had our Foxy Brown, we had
Hmm.
our Lil Kim, but we had the balance. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? We had the Queen Latifahs, we had the MC Lights. You know what I'm saying? We had the Lauren Hills in that mix, somewhere in that mix. The
Hmm.
thing about I feel right now is that we have all these Megan Stallions and the Cardi B's and all of that, but we don't have the balance. We don't allow certain female rap artists to shine.
Hmm.
What's the one we always talk about, Jacob? I'm drawing a blank.
Rhapsody, boy. Rhapsody. I
Yeah,
love her.
absolutely.
We don't let a
It's super dope.
Rhapsody
Yeah.
shine like she's supposed to. We don't allow even what's the name? The one that played for LSU. Uh, uh,
Fly J. Fly J.
but
Yeah.
huh?
Fly J.
Yeah,
Fonda. Yeah.
we don't. She was on the BET Awards, performing, and I didn't know she was that lyrical. But
Hmm.
other than that, you don't hear her stuff on the radio. You don't
Mm-hmm.
hear people talking about her like they do these other artists. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like I don't mind if we have the Meg Thee Stallions and the Cardi B's and all that, but let's have some balance in it. That's
Yeah,
all I'm
yeah.
Well,
We got
what I,
Rhapsody. Okay, good.
well, I'm gonna say this. Jermaine Dupri said, um, you know, the labels is wrong and it's their fault. He said because all y'all are promoting now is strippers that pop their coochie and now they can talk about it on wax.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know. So I thought it was a interesting take, and he was under fire for several months for saying that, but a whole lot of people agreed with him. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And they was like, well, what about Lil Kim and Trina? He was like, yeah, but they made records with different people though. They made records with people that can evolve them, you know, on certain records. You know, like Kim made
Mm-hmm.
records with Missy. You know, Foxy made records with Nas and Az. Trina made records with like people like Trick
Mm-hmm.
and you know different people in the South, man. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they was like you know they made those records, but they still made records for with people who can really evolve their sound, so the fan base can see, okay, they got a different type of vibe with them too,
Mm-hmm.
depending on who they're working with, and so
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I just really think it's sad, but Rhapsody, even though she's won Grammys, she's not near as big as she's supposed to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
She's supposed to be huge.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
her. She's dope. We got like you said, Rhapsody. We got Rod Digger still out there killing them
Yeah,
on wax. You got I love Rock. She's one of my favorite MCs out there. On the underground scene, we got Isis Set. We got Nefertiti. There's so many dope female MCs out there, man. We just gotta work a little bit harder to give them the spotlight. You know what I mean? But they out there. They out there.
Okay, so what's your and you when you in the club playing? Cause you still play the club scenes and all that.
Ah, man, the club scene died out here when COVID came around. So it's been a minute, man. And it's not because it's not available. It's just the promoters don't want to pay you. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And with being a father and a husband, if you're gonna pull me away from my family, it's got to be worth it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So they want to play they want to pay the DJ that's using this just basically just pulling up their computer and just tapping on something, huh?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So basically, so and you because you got a radio station too, right?
Yes, yeah.
So on your radio station, what is just kind of tell people about your radio station and the music and your content and what's your your whole thing that you got over there.
Yeah, man, Kawon Radio, man. We heavy independent hip hop, R&B, a lot of instrumental. A lot of people don't give the producers they love either. So we play a lot of instrumental beat tape tracks on there from the producers. My show, the mixtape show, is the flagship show of the station. We come on every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central, and I actually have Big V on there this week. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop that interview this week for that. So I appreciate you guys setting that up. And
without.
then I have another show out there too, man. My brother Emilio Egbar, man, up in New York. He's one of the flagship shows too. He's been with me from like day one with his show. And so I brought him along with me to when we kind of relaunched the station a little bit. I used to have a lot of DJs, a
He's
lot of
dope, bro.
yeah,
He's dope.
Emilio. Emilio's
He's
dope.
real dope, bro.
Yeah,
He's a seasoned DJ like yourself.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
really dope.
he's been with me from day one, man. I met him. I became a fan of his because I kind of caught him by mistake on somebody else's platform and reached out to him. I was like, I gotta have you, bro. You know what I mean? And he's a dope MC too. He just don't write anymore, and I'm trying to get him back in the studio, but he's not. He don't want to do it right now. But I used to have a lot of DJs. A lot of these DJs that you see out here that's on all these other platforms. I would say that was on. I was probably one of the first platforms that carried them, but then a lot of other platforms kind of saw what I was doing and kind of, did something similar. So I kind of was like, I got to separate myself from everybody else because we all can't be having the same content because now we all sound the same. So I kind of cleaned house a little bit, kept my show. I got my man Emilio on there. Sunday evenings, I have a sister from New York. Her name is Leah Hinton. She has a really dope jazz infused R&B show. She's a singer, vocalist. She's really dope. And then I have my guy Eddie OJ from up in New York too. He has kind of like a throwback station up there too, and he has his show on my station, and that's it, man. I don't carry too many shows anymore like I used to. We just play a lot of music. The 3 or 4 kind of shows that we carry independently, and we just kind of gonna go with that, man. Just because I don't want to sound like everybody else, so I can always create content. I can always do some extra mixtape show type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can just do like Oprah, just put my face on everything and and create the content behind it. But that's pretty much it, man. I think we one of the pillars of the indie hip hop scene, and we've interviewed some incredible guests throughout the years, from underground guys to the hip hop greats. And we don't plan on stopping anytime soon, man. Like I said, I'm about to hit 400 episodes here in a couple weeks, so we've been going at this for a while.
That's
Yeah,
dope.
right back. We're gonna be right back on 95 South, so we can close this thing out. Okay, we back, and I'm glad you said that, Kiwan, because that's what me and Jacob and Nicole are trying to provide. We're trying to, it's of course, more than anybody, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to build our radio station up to be something different. That's
Mm-hmm.
why we're actually providing all type of genre of music. A couple of years ago, we started when we were doing the get podcast real heavy. We were going in a lot of events. Last year we took some time off,
Mm-hmm.
but in 25 we gonna rev it back up, do a lot of festivals, award shows, different events and stuff like that. To kind of,
Yeah.
because I tell people this all the time. I started in radio, independent radio, when it was taboo. So I
Mm-hmm.
was back in Atlanta back in 2012.
Yeah.
It was only a few people that was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So now when the podcast game came around, I got back into it. But I tell people, I say the thing about it is radio is one of those things that a lot of people don't get into it because they don't, when they barely want to take time in the dedication to do the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you're talking about doing a radio station, that's a whole different level of dedication.
New animals, a different animal. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, but it's a different level of respect also.
Mm-hmm.
And people, oh, you got a radio station? Oh, okay. Because everybody got a podcast. It's like a chicken
Mm-hmm.
spot in Atlanta or Dallas or Houston or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody got them on every block. You know what I mean? But everybody don't got a radio station.
Yeah, and I take pride in that too, brother. I always tell people, like, when they ask me about my show, and they're like, "Well, what about your podcast?" I'm like, "It's not a podcast; it's a radio show. We play music, we do interviews and all. We do an interview piece on the show, but it's geared towards music. You know what I'm saying? It's not a podcast; it's a radio show. It's formatted like a radio show." And that's when they kind of look back at you like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be bunched in with podcasts because I'm not a podcast. I'm an actual radio station with a radio show. And, you got to educate the consumer a little bit too when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so brother, man, you got any more questions? That I'm gonna let this man
Oh
go.
no, oh no, bro. Me and DJ Kawon got a very close personal relationship, man. That's my brother. So
Absolutely.
we gonna be building. And just want to say, Kawon, we do a breakdown show, the breakdown music show on Sundays. And what we do is we review all the old school hip hop. And so
Okay.
I be hitting you up on the brain, but just know this week we gonna be interviewing Big Daddy Kane, one of my favorite MCs ever.
Oh, dope.
We
Dope,
gonna
dope.
be interviewing the first dude that brought the great sex appeal to hip hop and a lyrical presence at the same time. Big Daddy Kane.
Absolutely.
It like he's gonna be on the show. We're gonna be breaking down his album.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. Kane don't get his
No,
respect like he should. No,
I
Kane don't
think
get
the
his
breakdown
respect.
show, brother. You know what I mean?
No, you said interview. You know how folks is. You
Yeah.
said, what? They lying. They
Yeah,
capping.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was,
yeah.
you said
Yeah, but
right.
we've been breaking down some great hip hop albums that made a lot of impact to the culture and just kept growing with the culture, over the last 30 years. So what we break down is the veterans of hip hop,
All
and
right.
I be I be giving you a call, man, to see what
For
Sunday
sure.
we can get you on, man, and tell you what album
Absolutely.
we're gonna be breaking down.
Absolutely. What's your one album, Jacob? What's the one that you got to take with you everywhere if you have to, that you can't live without?
Um, my favorite album, man, who really made me understand that he was from another stratosphere, man. That first Arabian Rockin' album, Paid in Full, bro. That's my favorite album. That's my top album. I don't think there's nobody out there greater than the God MC. He was way before his time. And I got soul. I ain't no joke. Check out my
Yeah,
melody. I just love rocking.
yeah. What
What's
about you,
your
Icon? What's your
mine?
what's your
Oh,
I got
mine is Ready to Die.
ready to die. Okay, all right, all right.
I'm like him. Rakim is in my top five, but when it comes to like the greatest, I don't. When some people start talking about the album, how many albums and all that, Biggie
Hmm.
is it for me.
Hmm.
You
Mine
know what I
is
mean?
mine is over my shoulder right there. Third
Oh,
Woo,
famous.
woo.
Yeah,
okay, okay.
that album to me, it was the most unpolished, mix and mastered album, and it sounded so grimy and cruddy, and it came out the perfect time because that was during the shiny suit era. You know what I'm saying? So that album to me changed my ears as far as what hip hop should be like. It should feel like, you know what I'm saying, you in your mom's basement making records and you went from them dusty albums and stuff like that. So that's my number one up there.
It's funny you say that. Even though rocking is my favorite album, but who took the hip hop back to the street culture?
Mhm.
Nobody did that better than DMX.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
It's dark and hell is hot is a very important album for hip hop, man. It
Yeah.
that was to us, that was like the second coming of Tupac. Not as far as the message and stuff, but just the energy. You know what I'm saying? That I don't care attitude and I'm gonna do me and we're gonna take it back to the streets. So yeah, that's definitely X man. Rest his soul, man. Rest in peace to X, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this to y'all, Keywan, before we get out of here. Quick story about DMX. So when he passed, I mean, I went out and ordered a DMX shirt and all that kind of stuff. But I remember like watching his funeral on TV. I watched a couple of celebrity funerals,
Mhm.
but I was sitting there watching his funeral. I was literally driving down the highway, and everybody, and I met people that was from New York, whatever, especially when I had my shirt on, and they was telling me about the spiritual side of DMX, and then
Mhm.
he the story with DMX told where he met this redneck white guy who was just he told him straight up, I don't like black people, but I like you. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because of the spiritual side that he came across in the realness. And I
Mhm.
remember I'm sitting there watching the funeral and I broke down like a baby.
Mhm.
Point, I'm sitting inside of a Denny's or IHOP, I think it was a Denny's, and I had to get up from my seat and go to my car for a minute and compose myself. And
Mhm.
I'm like, what in the world? You know what I'm saying? So to me, I never met the guy, but from the music and just whatever he had spiritually, I felt. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? At the moment. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
He's probably one of the best live shows I've ever been. I say him and Naughty by Nature are probably my top two favorite live shows I've ever seen in my life. Them two
DMX,
perform.
DMX is that for me, Outcast. But like I say with DMX, I tell people this all the time. If you ever want to understand how to perform, watch DMX because DMX can control the crowd no
Mhm.
matter what he is rapping about at that moment. If he's on
Mhm.
his spiritual stuff, if he's on his street stuff, whatever he is, and he's the first street rapper I ever seen break down and cry in the middle of a show. And you
Mhm.
almost forget, but it's no, that's who he really was. You know what I'm saying? Especially when he get to those songs about prayers, because he
Mhm.
gonna do his prayer songs in the middle of the show. And when he
Mhm.
get to that point, when he get on his Pastor DMX, you know what I'm saying, during the middle of his show, you gonna see them tears.
Mhm.
You know
No
what I'm
doubt,
Mhm.
no doubt.
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
But I just wanted to say that we gonna definitely have you on. Matter of fact, I'm hoping you freed up when we do the Wu Tang album. I'm gonna tell Jacob to reach out to you first when we break
Absolutely.
the Wu Tang album for you to come on.
I'm here, brother. I'm available anytime you guys need me, man. We family
All
now.
right,
You know what I mean?
brother. You have a blessed and wonderful weekend, and I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you, brothers, man. Thank y'all. All
Salute,
right. All right.
salute.
Salute.